Welcome back, everybody. We have just finished watching Captain America Civil War. I am Bladen. This is Joe. We are on a journey to rewatch the entirety of the MCU in build-up to Avengers Secret Wars. I'm going to hand it over to Joe. He's going to give you a quick rundown synopsis of the film, and then we'll get into the review.
So, after the events in Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America and Iron Man clash as the government attempts to put a leash on the Avengers. Captain America is drawn to his limits as he struggles with that, as well as his search for Bucky and the death of Peggy Carter. Captain America Civil War held its world premiere at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles on April 12, 2016, and was released in the United States on May 6 as the first film in Phase 3.
Nice.
So
we have started a new phase of the MCU.
First one of Phase 3. Hot takes.
This is the best interpretation of Captain America up to this point in the MCU.
I personally still like him better in Winter Soldier, but I think
this has the best action in the MCU.
That is your own personal hot
That's
take,
my hot
which we'll
take.
get to later. But I mean, the action, yes, is phenomenal, but combat-wise, I still think Winter Soldier takes it.
Nope.
And
this one's it's
for things that we'll get into later.
All right.
My hot take: Spider-Man should not have been in this movie.
Hard disagree. Are you saying Spider-Man or Tom Holland's Spider-Man?
No, Spider-Man should not have been in this movie simply because the only reference we get to Spider-Man even existing at this point is throwaway line in Ant-Man.
Yeah, because he didn't exist before that.
Let me finish.
All right.
If Civil War happened later and you have Spider-Man as an established character, it would have made way more sense. It'll go into when we get into where it was released timeline-wise, because I think we both agree this movie should not have been released here.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, but yeah, my hot take is Spider-Man should not have been introduced in Civil War. Just overall, that's what I think. But so question one: is it a good movie?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I won't disagree on that at all. It's a great movie. But there is a lot that I would change about it, for sure.
Yeah.
And as I said, Spider-Man, if you're not going to have him already established, not going to have him have his own movie or have him show up somewhere else or something like that.
So here's your solution. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
I mean, I would have been better with that one than Tom Holland Spider-Man.
I would have loved it if Andrew Garfield Spider-Man had come in this movie and had been the Spider-Man of the MCU, but I'm fine with what they did.
If they had used Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, he would have been on a Cap side, for sure.
I think it would have been interesting if you would have him start out on Tony's side and be turned to Cap, similar to the way it was done in the comics.
And the comics fall a little bit closer to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that. If we did not have Tom Holland Spider-Man, then yeah, we should have had Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. But to use Civil War as a character introduction to Spider-Man, it's not good in my opinion. I don't think it should have been that way. You shouldn't be introducing characters in Civil War as a storyline.
Why?
Because you should already have all the characters that are going to be clashing established. Because one, the only establishment we have is Tony walking in and being like, oh, so you fight for the little guy. And that's it. That's all you get for Spider-Man's complete backstory for the entirety of his introduction to the MCU. Not that it's bad, but he should have a lot more build-up, especially to something that should be as world-shatteringly crazy as a civil war between the heroes. Everyone who should be involved in this battle should be people who are established. Ant-Man would have been the cutoff for characters that should have been in Civil War, simply because his movie was last. But even then, I don't think Ant-Man should have been in Civil War.
Oh, do you have a problem with Black Panther being there too?
I do. I do have a problem with Black Panther. But there's so many more people who talk about Spider-Man that's kind of who I focus on.
Okay, what question are we on? We're on
things we would change.
Okay. So I don't personally have a problem with introducing characters in movies that aren't their own, because
I mean, you don't
the
have
thing you're
to,
not
but
the thing I think you're also not understanding is that before this we had two fantastic interpretations of Spider-Man that both told his origin.
yeah,
I think it's very refreshing to have him be introduced in this movie and then get a movie later down the line, especially considering where the character of Spider-Man was at the time. Sure, it would have been cool if we had gotten an origin movie for Spider-Man before that, but I don't think it was needed.
maybe not needed, but if it's not going to be needed, don't bring him in on something that's so crazy as Civil War. Like, the Civil War storyline is not where characters should be introduced. It should be, this is where characters are finally taking their stand on what they believe. Like, and that's why I have such a big problem with when this was released timeline wise, is because you should have had maybe another Avengers movie where you could have brought Spider-Man in, and you could have brought Black Panther in, and you could have brought more together and actually introduced a lot more heroes before you go to Civil War, where we have 12 people fighting each other. Whereas in the comic books, you have literally hundreds of heroes fighting. Like, the absolute scarcity of people is so frustrating to me.
Okay.
Like,
while I do agree with you, it would have been nice to get more characters in. You also have to remember that Marvel doesn't have the right to the X-Men, doesn't have the right to the Fantastic
it
Four.
doesn't even need the
So-
X-Men at this point.
So, what other characters would you have liked to be introduced and seen
I
in Civil
mean,
War,
honestly,
other than the ones we got?
They hinted at Hope getting the Wasp suit. Give her the Wasp suit and have her on Cap's side.
Okay,
Like-
so you'd want them to just introduce Wasp out of the blue, just be like, yeah,
Out of the blue, she literally gets her suit revealed in the end of
Yeah, they
Ant-Man.
get the
That's more than
suit.
Spider-Man or Black Panther got.
Yeah, they get the suit revealed, but we don't see Wasp at all before this. So you would have just had Scott Lang and Hope show up?
Yeah, why not? That would have been way better than Black Panther and Spider-Man's introductions.
Disagree.
Like,
Hard disagree.
I'm not going to say that Black Panther's introduction is bad, because I think his is probably one of the better introductions for a character who's not in their own standalone movie. Like, but Spider-Man's, I feel like, is awful because, one, Aunt May being a young, hot girl is so antithesis to who Aunt May is that it's frustrating every time I see that actress. And
Why?
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 Okay, so
Why do you have a
let's-
problem with Aunt May being younger?
one, she should be older because she was supposed to be the older sister of his mom.
Wrong.
That alone, before you even go into that origin comic, that does not count for anything and should not even be considered canon at all.
No,
okay?
but even-
before you even
No, I'm not
go
getting
there,
into that.
go somewhere else, please, because Aunt May in the original comics, just going by the original comics, is already 60-something years old,
Okay.
and Peter is in high school at this point.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
now you have Peter just in high school,
Mhm.
and Aunt May is 20, 30 years younger than
Mhm.
what she should be. Like,
Mhm.
that's so stupid to me. Like, it does not make sense why you would do
Why?
that. Because, one, the motherly figure that you would see is not able to come across quite as well as
She's
what
in her mid-40s.
she doesn't look like it. And
So?
that's my problem.
She takes care of herself. You got a problem with Aunt May taking care of herself?
Actually, yes, I do, because in the comics, repeatedly, she falls ill because she's so focused on other people that she's not taking care of herself. Like, literally.
Okay.
That's more against her character in the comics. Like, this is not a Spider-Man bashing, like, but at the same time, it is. I hate the way they did Spider-Man in Civil War. 100%.
I 100% completely disagree with you. I think that it was a fantastic idea to make Aunt May, one, younger, and B, less of a what's the word? What word am I looking for? Senile?
She's never come across as senile in the comics. I think you're thinking of a different word than senile.
No, I'm thinking of senile. Okay. You love the Ultimate Comics universe. Do you think that that's a bad interpretation of Aunt May because they made her younger?
Yeah,
she's
but
the same age as Marissa Tomei is supposed to be in the Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
So is Peter Parker, the same age as he's supposed to be in the Ultimate Universe.
There are so many differences.
Like?
And give me a second. I'm in the middle of a sentence, and
Okay.
you're cutting me off, cutting my ideas short, and then I'm forgetting what I'm in the middle of saying. Because I literally forgot what I was about to say.
Well, it's the art of debate right there.
No, that is not the art of debate. If someone has an idea and you cut them off, that is not the art of debate.
Okay.
I have a lot of problems with Aunt May being a young woman who every man who sees her finds attractive. Like, that I have a problem with. One, why would she still be single? If you want to go by this, she should not be single at this point.
Why?
Go into Homecoming and you have her getting hit on by like 18 different guys, and it's like, okay, so you haven't found one good guy in all of New York City? Like,
maybe she
really
just doesn't want a relationship.
Go into Homecoming, watch that movie, and Peter's like, oh, why don't you go on a date with that waiter who is like giving us free food and stuff? And she's like, oh, I would, but, and then she comes up with like a stupid excuse, and
That's
it's
not what happens in Homecoming.
I watched it like 2 weeks ago, bro.
You're misremembering then.
How early has it been since you watched it? Like,
I watched it like a couple months ago. I can tell you for sure that is not how the scene went.
Okay, when we get to that movie, I'm going to write down that scene word for word, and I'm going to be like, oh, guess what?
Okay.
I was right.
No, because what happens is, wait. I will wait to make a full
I want you to say it on recording.
Okay.
So when you're wrong,
do you want me to say what happens?
Yes.
Do you want me to say
when
what
you're
happens?
wrong,
the guy
comes
over with the meal, puts it in front of Aunt May.
No, he comes over with the dessert because they have finished.
Are you going to keep cutting me off?
I will, because you're explaining the scene wrong.
He comes over with a plate. I'm not going to say what's on the plate.
Because you're wrong.
He comes over with a plate, puts it down in front of Aunt May. Aunt May goes, we didn't order this. He says, it's on the house. He walks away. Aunt May looks back at Peter and goes, that was nice of him, wasn't it? And Peter goes, I think he larbs you.
Yeah.
Scene's over.
No, the scene
ends right there.
Does not end there.
The scene ends right there.
No, because they make a joke and she's like, oh, but I wouldn't date him, kind of thing.
No, she doesn't. I am 110%
that's
sure.
Fine. That's fine. You can be 110% sure, but you can also be 110% wrong.
You are wrong.
Scene goes
you are wrong.
That.
No, it does not. It ends right there.
If it cuts off when he says he might larb you or whatever, that would be it. But if there's something before he says that, because I'm pretty sure there is a lot of, well, not a lot, but there are things said between when he gives her that and when he says that.
There isn't.
I'm 90% sure.
I'm 100% sure.
You can be 100% wrong too.
Yeah, and you can be 90% wrong as well. No, you're 100% wrong.
No, I won't.
You are.
I won't.
You are.
Because I'll be 10% right.
No, you will be 100% wrong.
But either way, I hate this Aunt May, and I hate this introduction of Spider-Man.
But why?
For so many reasons. And I've given you 3 already, and each one you're like, that's not a legitimate reason so far.
Okay,
so,
recap the 3 reasons and then tell me the rest.
I don't even remember at this point that I've said what I've said. So I don't like him being a dumpster diver. I think him doing thrift storing would be making way more sense because he's not literally like going in, and he's not at that desperate of a financial situation. Like, yes, he should be financially in straits, but he shouldn't be like, oh, I'm looking in dumpsters, I'm opening dumpsters and looking at, like, okay, no. If he's going to thrift stores to look for specific things, that makes way more sense than him being like, oh, I saw a DVD player in the trash can. Like,
why wouldn't he take it?
I'm not saying that he wouldn't take it. I'm not even saying that. But to be like, this is his character where he's at. Like, if he was like, oh, I found this at the thrift store and it was like $2, I think that more appeals to his financial instability than him being like, oh, I found it in a dumpster. Like, I think there's so many little things that you could do better and that they didn't do well.
Okay, but what's wrong with him getting it from a dumpster?
I just said that like 2 seconds ago, that it's not wrong for him to get it from a dumpster. I think it's worse for him to get it from a dumpster than if he was to find it for like $2 at a thrift store, which you can do all the time. Like, because I know, because I've gone thrift store shopping. You can find so many electronics. You can find so many things. If he came in with a shopping cart full of stuff and he was like, oh, I got a good haul at the thrift store or something, it makes way more sense and sounds way better than, oh, look, I got in the dumpster and I found 80 billion things. Like, no.
Okay. But here's the thing that you're missing. He says, I found the DVD player. It was just sitting there. He does not say that it came from the garbage. The thing he says came from the garbage was his laptop. Now, or his MacBook or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, Tony says, you're a dumpster diver. Peter does not say, yeah, I look through dumpsters. He could have. Now, hear me out.
He doesn't disagree with it.
Hear me out. Headcanon here. Let's say he was in a fight or something, fell into a dumpster, found the computer. Once the fight's over, he goes back and takes it.
Who's he fighting at this point in time who's going to knock him into a dumpster?
What if he got hit by a car? Or fell off a roof trying to swing? You don't know.
You're making a lot of leaps for something that has
I think you're making a couple of leaps.
No, I'm really not, because I don't like this introduction of Spider-Man.
I like it.
And that's fine. And that is part of why we do this, is because we knew we were going to have disagreements at some points. And I knew I was building up to this, but maybe you weren't expecting it.
This is a Civil War on the episode about Civil War.
Civil War episode. And we haven't even gotten to question 2 yet. Like,
all right, I think,
yeah, no, I would not have introduced Spider-Man in this movie in this way. I would have done it in either a different movie and definitely in a different way. Like, to have Tony Stark coming in and hitting on his aunt and everything, it's so stupid to me. Like, that's stupid. Why? Okay,
I'm just going to rage bait you this whole
I know
episode.
you are, and I know you're trying to rage bait me, which is why I'm trying to keep my cool. And why I keep forgetting things is because you are rage baiting me, and it is working a little bit. But the idea that Tony Stark would end up with Aunt May frustrates the living.
Who end up with Aunt May?
If you're gonna be like, oh, your aunt's attractive, like, and you're the same age,
so you can't
wait, and you're the same age as them, then obviously there's some kind of attraction that he's kind of alluding to. Which means if he was to ask her out on a date and she said yes, obviously something's gonna happen. She goes out with Happy. Like, there's no way she wouldn't have gone out with Tony. Like, just saying. But no.
But here's the key detail that you're missing here. He's schmoozing Aunt May so he can stay till Peter gets there. And
yeah, but why is he schmoozing Aunt May to Peter?
He called her good looking one time. You're allowed to call people good looking.
I'm not saying that you're not, but Aunt May should not be good looking.
Why can't Aunt May be good looking?
What? Okay, let me ask it in a way that will probably rage bait you. Why should Aunt May be good looking?
One, she's in her early to mid 40s,
but she shouldn't be.
What?
OG Comics. Okay. She shouldn't be. Peter is, let's say, 2 years older than he is in Ultimate, and his aunt is low 60s.
Yeah,
we'll say low 60s.
Well,
in the original comics.
In the original comics, she's like in her 90s, but whatever.
No, she's definitely not that old.
Looks like it, but you know.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to draw her as an old grandmotherly figure. So yes, they make her look older than she is, but she's in her 60s. And part of that is, as I said before, she's not taking care of herself because she's so focused on other people. If you want someone who kind of looks attractive but still looks old, PS4 Spider-Man Aunt May. I think that is a way better looking Aunt May for the character of Aunt May than Civil War's Aunt May.
Okay. Okay. All right. So here's the thing.
I almost pointed that at myself. But.
There is nothing that changes. So if Aunt May does look good, what about her character changes? Intrinsically, what about her character changes? Because I personally think that this version of Aunt May is more of an Aunt May figure than the Tobey Maguire version and the Andrew Garfield version. She instills more hope in people. She lifts Peter up. Like, now I know what you're going to bring up.
Say silent.
Now, I know what you're going to bring up. You're going to bring up the scene in Spider-Man 2 where Aunt May gives Peter a speech about coming back as Spider-Man because for some reason she knows he's Spider-Man in that movie, which doesn't,
kind of makes sense, but
yeah.
No.
Aunt May does the exact same thing in Spider-Man No Way Home that Aunt May does in Spider-Man 2. She tells Peter that he has the responsibility to help people when they need it. I don't understand why you're so hung up on her being young and attractive. It doesn't change the core parts of her character, and it doesn't really make a difference to what her part of Peter's story looks like.
And that's where I disagree. I think it does change what part. Like, because one, you have her end up dating Happy, which Happy is literally, after Civil War, Peter's only connection to Tony Stark. Like, so you have all these little things that they're trying to implant into the story to draw Aunt May more into Peter's life, which makes sense when you get to No Way Home, but it doesn't for any of the other parts of the story up until this point.
All right.
And there's so many little things that should be done differently. And I think making Aunt May at least look older would have helped. And it's just one of those things where I'm not even saying like I would prefer her to look like she's 97. I think the first Aunt May is the best of the Aunt Mays, and I already know I disagree with you completely on what your point is there.
Yep.
But personally, the role that she takes in Tom Holland's Spider-Man is the role that Uncle Ben should have had. And that is also a problem that I have with their Aunt May.
Okay. So here's my thing. We know that there is an Uncle Ben in this universe. We see his initials on Peter's case. We know there's an Uncle Ben in this universe. He alludes to him a little bit in this movie, talking about when the bad things happen, they happen because of you.
Yeah.
Now, by the time that we get to Spider-Man No Way Home, Peter is vengeful, angry, a little depressed, and he needs that reminder from Aunt May that his great power means he has a great responsibility to the people he has to protect.
Yeah.
That
part,
is Aunt May's lesson. It's a reminder of what Uncle Ben taught him.
That part
not taking his
I don't mind as much, but the role that she plays in the Tom Holland movies takes most of the, I don't want to say credence, but a lot of what he should know from Uncle Ben. And it takes a lot of what he should already have established in his character simply because we do know his origin story. If you're going to ignore his origin story for this movie, he should have at least somewhat of a character beyond that. Like, and that's my problem, is that you set him up as if he's already established, that he's already got these morals set in him, and then suddenly he doesn't because now it's his movie. And things like that are
you talking about in Spider-Man Homecoming?
I'm talking about like Homecoming and Far From Home and stuff like that.
So
like there, and I'm not trying to get too deep into those movies. I'm just trying to say my problems with Aunt May and Tom Holland Spider-Man for this movie specifically. Like, they've already set him up as an established character, but then they don't treat him like an established character quite as much as they should if they're going to be like, oh yeah, no, he's already there kind of thing. But yeah. Anyways, we should move on.
Yeah, we should probably move on. I mean, we've been on this like half the episode already. All right.
Okay. So what would you change?
You know, Aunt May just looks a little too young in this movie. I think I would make her
I'm gonna slap you in the face, man. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. do we want to go to the next question?
Okay, but no, seriously, I do have something I would
Okay.
change. One. Oh, I'm sorry. One, I would give Baron Zemo his purple mask.
Well, he's not Baron Zemo. You got to remember, he's Baron Zemo's kid. That is one of the key differences that I'm okay with him not having the mask.
Mhm.
And I mean, yes, he does get it in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but like, it's his father's mask, not his kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I'm okay with them not having him.
I would have just like, and that would even make sense for why he's wearing it as respect for his father in the movie.
It would have made more sense if, like, when they come to Moscow it's Siberia, which is in Moscow, but when they get there and he's in the bunker, if he was wearing it,
that's what I'm.
That would have made sense, and literally, that would have been the only time he would have had to wear it.
Yeah,
because it's the only time he's showing his face to Captain Tony.
Exactly.
So, but
yeah, I would have had maybe. Just thinking of it.
I have no idea what you were thinking of. So
yeah, I know.
Something with Black Panther.
No.
Something with Natasha. I don't know.
No.
I don't know what your mind.
Yeah. I would have had Natasha and Steve have more of a relationship, which is a problem with the wider MCU.
Yeah.
But I could especially see where they could have worked it in this movie, especially.
Rather than
I feel like the Sharon Carter role could have just been taken over by Black Widow in this movie.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it would have been good to maybe bring in another player on Iron Man's team. I know you, for some reason, you got a problem with introducing characters in this movie, but no, I'm kidding.
With introducing characters, it's how they were introduced. Again, I said I thought Black Panther's introduction was solidly done, but then Spider-Man's is not.
Yeah, so...
And we'll get to it later, but Tony being the one to go to Spider-Man is also a big problem. And you have a problem with that,
I have
too.
a problem with.
And that's something you have a problem with.
I would have thought, if anyone has actually read the Civil War event, there is a very cool character known as Ragnarok, which is a robot version of Thor.
Yes.
They could have fit him in perfectly in this movie when Natasha and Tony were talking, and Nat has the idea for Black Panther, and Tony is like, yeah, I got an idea too. It would have been a much better way to, one, not introduce Spider-Man in this movie, which I still think they could have introduced Spider-Man in this movie and made it work, which I think they did all right with in this movie. But you could have brought in Ragnarok, which is a robotic version of Thor, and that could have balanced out the teams.
Yeah. And see, my thing with that is, if they had done that, and then they have Ant-Man get big, every single person would have been mad if they didn't kill Ant-Man, because in the Civil War timeline, Goliath gets killed by Ragnarok. Yeah. So it would have been interesting. And honestly, not that I think Ant-Man should have died, but it would have been really interesting if they did have that. And I think the scene where Vision flies through him was kind of in reference
a little nod
to that. Because in the comics, Ragnarok throws the hammer and it literally just
I thought he just like shot lightning through his body.
he throws the hammer through Goliath.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I was like, yeah, that was definitely somewhat of a reference to the comics.
Yep. And this is a smaller nitpick. Give Cap his white sleeves back. I miss the white sleeves.
Yeah, it would have been better with the sleeves, but it's not the worst without them, but yeah, no, it definitely looks better with them.
If this suit had the white sleeves, I think it'd be my favorite MCU Captain America suit. Because it is really close. It's just, I just can't get past the
missing the
sleeves. It worked for the stealth suit.
Yeah. Well, which makes sense because you wouldn't want the bright reflective materials.
But with even the first Avengers suit and then the first Avengers suit and then Age of Ultron, he has the white, so I don't know why you would get rid of it.
Yeah, for one movie, it's gone. But yeah, no, there's there's a lot that's good with this movie, and there's a lot that I don't like in this movie.
Yep.
And it's definitely not going to be like low on the list.
Yep.
But
I would have also wanted maybe a scene showing that Baron Zemo maybe paid or not paid, maybe, I don't know, not blackmailed, maybe hired the woman
at the elevator
who inspired Tony to do that,
to sign the
because
accords and everything.
while, yes, Tony's grief is kind of justified in the movie with the whole thing after that,
Sokovia.
but it also doesn't make
Yeah,
much
literally-
sense. Her argument is dissolved because in like a second.
They saved the
If she was
entire
coming-
planet.
If she was
and
coming from
a
the
couple
angle of
people
like,
died.
you invented Ultron, so it's your fault my son is dead
Yeah.
because Ultron's the one who lifted the sea. But that's not even where she's
Yeah.
coming from.
And,
She's like,
and
in
if she
your-
did have that knowledge, I would have a problem with that, because that would not be anything that everyone would be made aware of, because
Yeah.
obviously you wouldn't want people to know where Ultron came
Yeah,
from.
but the place that she's coming from is more like, in your attempt to save the world, you killed my son.
Yeah,
Really?
it's like
Really?
one person died.
Which I
while
understand.
you were
It's a
saying-
mother's grief
Yes,
and everything.
yeah.
Her grief is understandable.
Yes, but
Tony
for Tony
taking that to heart-
completely change his
Like,
mind
come on.
on a lot of different things because of it, which I mean we'll get to when we get to consistency of characters. But yeah, it would have been interesting if she was paid off and like that kid had died there, but it wasn't her son, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like that would have been an interesting dynamic. But I don't think they needed to show Zemo to be more manipulative, because they do show quite a bit of like,
Oh yeah, with like the
how-
whole framing Bucky and all that.
with how good he had planned it out already,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like they didn't need to go that extra step.
Mhm.
But yeah. So any other things you would change?
I don't think so, no.
One thing that I wish we had seen, not really so much that I would have changed, but you have Cap's team, which was Wanda, Hawkeye, Cap, obviously, Bucky, and then Falcon, and who am I missing? There's one
Ant-Man.
more. Ant-Man. And they were planning to fly to Siberia to fight the 5 Winter Soldiers.
Mhm.
And I would have loved to see that.
That
fight.
would have been
That would have
interesting.
been a really cool fight. Just saying. But that's not something I would really change.
Yeah.
But it would have been cool. Yeah. So, do you like when this was released timeline wise?
I'll let you go first.
I think the Civil War storyline, I understand it coming before Infinity War, but as I touched on before, the amount of people you should have for it to be more impactful should be a lot more than 12 people, 2 of which get introduced in this movie, because if they didn't introduce those 2 people, it would have been 5-on-5 as the entirety of the Civil War storyline. And like, yeah, no, I think it should have been released later. And maybe controversial take, but I think if you did the Civil War storyline as a Disney Plus series after Endgame, just imagine how good that. Not saying that Disney Plus has been phenomenal with their things,
Well,
but if you did Civil War as a show storyline, you could have gone so much more into so many different things.
well, you couldn't.
I know you can't, but
Yeah, you couldn't because Tony sacrificed at the end
Yeah,
of Endgame and
yeah.
everything. Now,
But-
I think that this movie came out at the perfect time in the MCU. While, yeah, it would have been cool to see all the characters and the interactions and stuff like that in this movie, there is no possible way they were thinking that, oh, well, in 5 years, we'll have the X-Men and the Fantastic Four back and all the Defenders from the Netflix universe coming in. So, yeah, we should probably put off our huge Civil War event until then. They were thinking, yeah, this is the natural progression of the story, and this is the setup that we need to put in place in order for Infinity War to be as impactful as was. I think that without the Civil War event coming before Infinity War doesn't work.
I think
Because you need the characters
you
to
would
be
definitely
separated.
need Infinity War to be different, But you also can be like, hey, Cap is on a mission somewhere, and then the spaceship comes down in New York, and like Hulk's already gone, so you have Hulk return and everything. Like, it doesn't even have to change so much for it to work without Civil War happening before Infinity
I think
War.
it does.
But
And then, even then, they were like, oh, and we have Spider-Man back? Yeah, put him in the movie. This is the perfect time to release the movie.
yeah, I get that, but again, I think they should have done something other than a Civil War story. Like, I mean, the original plan was what, the Serpent Society?
That was Winter Soldier.
Well, yeah, that's right. That was Winter Soldier. This one had a different one before it.
I don't think so.
Didn't it?
No,
I'd have to look.
I think it was just released as Civil War.
But it would be interesting to have a different, either Captain America movie or maybe an Iron Man 4 movie that builds a little bit more conflict without making it Civil War. And then you could actually have the Civil War conflict build up before the Civil War movie, because the ideas that they throw for the Sokovia Accords, it's kind of flimsy. Like, you have the Battle of New York, which was not caused by any single person in the team of the Avengers, and they literally saved the world. And not only that, but the government was the one who was going to nuke New York to stop it.
Are you saying that the government's kind of hypocritical?
Oh no, not at all. And then they bring up after the Avengers, they bring up Winter Soldier. Would be next.
They bring up the Avengers,
so
and
then Washington.
With I don't know why they didn't bring up Thor: The Dark World in that. And that seems like something
because Thor's not a part of the Avengers at this point.
Yeah. So it goes,
but
the Avengers, Captain
and then
America.
They bring up Washington, where Hydra is planning on killing 1 billion people, and they end up with the death of maybe a couple hundred at most.
Probably less than that.
Maybe less than that. Well, there was a lot of SHIELD agents who died. And
if you're including the SHIELD agents, yeah.
And so, literally, like, that was best case scenario. 1 billion compared to maybe 100 people dying.
Yep, and the release of the bio agent.
In Civil War itself, where Crossbones has literally gotten the disease in his hands, and then they're trying to transport it somewhere else. If the Avengers aren't there, the disease gets out, and they succeed in their mission, causing the death of probably millions of people. And admittedly, yes, Captain America should have noticed the bombs, but for them to save everyone there by pushing the bomb into the sky and saving the lives of everyone on the ground, which there's going to be a lot more people on the ground in that area than there was up in the building. Like, the arguments are weak for
and especially when you take in the fact that General Ross is the one telling us this, and he's responsible for the events of the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. It's funny to see that and know that it's not a strong argument for the Sokovia Accords.
No, it's
and
really
then
not.
they're treating it as if, like, the fact that anything happened was at all their fault. Like, the most you could blame Tony for was making the arc reactor to power his house.
Yeah.
And that's not even something that you could say is his fault, because he's trying to make a clean energy source.
I think
if it wasn't Tony, they would have found some other way to power the Tesseract to open the portal for the Chitauri.
Yep.
Like,
I feel like a way you could have gotten around that is maybe having, and this would change a lot about what happens in the MCU, but if you could have had maybe in Winter Soldier, it's not revealed to the general populace about Hydra being involved in the government and in SHIELD. You could have still had the events of Winter Soldier take place where you get Bucky and he's freed and everything, but we don't know if Hydra is, like, still around or anything. And then in this movie, you have, instead of Zemo being the main villain, you could have had Hydra being the main villain, and they're the ones who set the Accords into place because they're just trying to dissolve the Avengers. Tony obviously could have still felt guilt and wasn't listening to Cap when he said there's something wrong with this. And then,
which kind of goes back to what we would have changed about things.
Yeah,
which,
I guess.
I mean, you could have still had that. Like, Age of Ultron, they still had Hydra stuff going on, and obviously Zemo goes and he finds the Hydra agents. Like, so, and I think Ant-Man literally brings in that there's still Hydra agents around. And even I think we forgot to mention it. There's 10 Rings.
Oh yeah, we get a 10 Rings cameo. So in Ant-Man.
You could have had many
or what if
different
the
ways.
10 Rings were?
Or yeah,
you could have had the 10 Rings be involved. It's like Iron Man's main villain.
Yeah, no, but there's a lot of different things that they could have done that would have made it into a more cohesive and a better plot-driven thing. Like, again, the action is great, and the movie is fun to watch.
Yeah, it's like the best action in the MCU.
Still disagree, but
nope.
We'll get to that point at later time. But yeah, so we've made it through 3 questions so far. Does the CGI hold up?
Yeah,
I think this is the worst of the floating heads you get in the MCU up until this point, which sucks because all you need is just a collar piece for Tony Stark to wear.
But I mean, then again, how many times do you see it? What, the one time in the airport?
2 times in the airport, the scene after the airport battle. Like, yeah, no, there's quite a few spots where it's pretty rough.
Other than that.
But it happens with both Rhodey and Tony, so it's like...
Does it happen with Rhodey?
Yeah, because when Rhodey's laying there after Tony... Because he pulls his mask off when he gets to him on the ground. But... yeah, no. The worst of the floating heads in the MCU so far. Like, there was a little bit in Ant-Man that threw me off, but wasn't so bad as in Civil War.
Yeah, wait till we get to Love and Thunder.
There's a floating head in that, all right.
Yeah.
Character-wise, do you think the characters were consistent?
All except Tony.
I think Cap has a little bit of inconsistency in his character.
I don't see it.
Just like compared, and it's not an inconsistency that I disagree with, because in the synopsis, as I read, he literally has the Sokovia Accords going through his mind. He has the death of Peggy Carter. He has the search for Bucky. He has everything that happened in Age of Ultron. Like, all of this stuff is all in his mind at this point in time. So I don't put it on the movie. I don't even say it as a fault, but I think like they did a good job of showing he's conflicted and keeps going back and forth on little things.
Yep. And I think it really does justify every character and what side they are on. Like, even a character in the movie as small as like Clint Barton, who shows up, you understand why he's on Cap's side, and why he doesn't. And I think even subtly, like when he shows up at the compound, and Scarlet Witch is like, "No, I'm gonna stay here." He's like, "This isn't how you make amends." And I think that could also be applied to Tony. Like, he's feeling very guilty about Ultron, so he's like, "Here, I'm just throwing my hat in, and I'm done." And that's not how you make amends with the plant, like people. You go out there and you
have to do the work yourself. You don't throw the accountability to someone else to shift the blame, essentially. Because that's a lot of what the movie feels like, is like Tony's trying to shift the blame off of him, which understandably so. Like, he is the one who created Ultron because he did something stupid. But yeah, no, there's a little bit of inconsistency with Tony, and a little bit of inconsistency with Cap. Cap's is understandable. Tony's a little less so.
I don't really see any inconsistency with Cap. I just see character growth. Because we see...
One, he kisses Sharon, so that alone is inconsistent with his character.
I don't think so. Not with this.
After he finds out that it's Peggy's niece, I think that's inconsistent with his character.
So...
He's not from Kansas, man.
He doesn't know that it's his niece at the point.
Yes, he does. When he kisses Sharon after she brings him the shield and the Falcon
Yes,
suit.
but he doesn't know that it's his niece.
Oh, well, I mean, in the MCU, it's probably not even his niece, but just Peggy's niece, who he was romantically attracted to and wanted to be with. Like, it's weird to be like, oh, you're related to my old fling. Like, that's really weird, and it shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think it's out of character for this version of Captain America.
Probably not. I don't know. I wouldn't even say that, but
we get okay. So here,
again, I think that Sharon's role should have been replaced with Natasha's role. I think Natasha, with the Sokovia Accords, should have resigned as an Avenger and gone to the CIA, because it would have made sense. She would have been like, if I can't be an Avenger because I don't want to be part of the Sokovia Accords, she goes to the CIA, and then she has all this access because she is already a high-ranking member from SHIELD and from the KGB and stuff. Like, so she would already have all these high credentials. She wouldn't even need much of a build-up to it. But
yeah, I have mapped out like a little bit Cap's character growth throughout the MCU. So we see him in the first Avenger, where, and I don't think, yeah, I can go off and talk about this is his movie after all. So in First Avenger, we see him. He's the soldier who just got the super soldier serum. He's out to do good. He makes a sacrifice play by sinking the plane, and then he wakes up years and years and years later. At this point, he's lost.
yeah,
He doesn't know.
the Avengers.
He doesn't know it by the time we get to the Avengers. He doesn't know what to do, and he throws himself back into service. He becomes a soldier again, and he thinks that's it. Then we get to Winter Soldier, where he discovers that I can't just be a soldier. There are things that are wrong with the system that I'm working for that I need to correct. So he leaves S.H.I.E.L.D., and then he goes to the Avengers. Then, in the Avengers, his trust is betrayed by Tony when he creates Ultron, and he realizes that the Avengers are flawed as well. So then by the time we get to Civil War and everything that happened, he decides that he's done. He leaves the Avengers. He doesn't sign the Accords because, after all, with everything we've seen, he knows everywhere is corrupt.
Yeah, and he even makes a line in the movie where he's like, agendas can change, and
Exactly.
people have agendas. And he literally spells that out for Tony.
Yep.
That alone probably should have made Tony a little bit more wary, but doesn't.
Especially with a few of his comments earlier in the MCU.
Yes,
It definitely, and I think it was smart that we opened with Tony's character in the movie grieving the loss of his parents, dealing with that, because that shows he's at a weaker state. We hear about him and Pepper being on a break, showing that, you know, him and her, she's like the most important thing to him.
Yeah,
and now
it's the reason why he's still going with what he's doing.
It's just showing that he's in a weak position right now, and it does justify a little bit more why he would do that. And I think that overall, I think most of the characters are consistent with the type of situation they're found in this movie. I just don't think that the situations they're found in this movie make sense for some aspects. Like, at the end of Age of Ultron, Tony's like, yeah, you know, retire, build a farm for Pepper. And now in this movie, we're like, they're on a break. Why? You're not going to tell us why? Okay.
Yeah, like literally, Age of Ultron set it up as if everything was going fine for them, and then Civil War is like, oh, and no, they're not fine.
Yeah, and then even after this, we don't even figure out what happened. We just hear, oh, we're fine now.
Yeah, Infinity
And then they get married in Spider-Man Homecoming.
They get engaged.
Yeah, they get engaged. And then they're married by Infinity War.
Are they married in Infinity War?
Yeah.
I thought they weren't married yet because
they had to post. Did they?
They were postponing the wedding again for something. Yeah. But was there a personal best performance in this movie too?
Yeah, Chris Evans is Captain America. I think it's his best performance so far.
I think he did a great job.
The emotional range he shows in this, he goes from being the soldier at the beginning. Then we see him becoming a little weaker, a little more vulnerable with people after obviously Peggy's death and everything.
Yeah.
And then we see him go right back into the soldier mindset. He's like, I got to get this done. We see his interactions with his best friend Bucky. We humanize him a little bit more.
Yeah.
He has probably some of the best lines in the movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think his character, just the way his character grows in the movie and everything, is really good. And special shout out, Tom Holland Spider-Man. This, until Spider-Man No Way Home, Civil War is the best performance he turned in as Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
I like Homecoming, the high school drama of it. Far From Home's okay.
Far From Home,
but other than No Way Home,
because
this is the
of
best.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
but anyways, not about that one. For me, I personally think that Zemo was great.
I just think we didn't get enough of him.
I do agree.
We
and
didn't
that's the
see
problem.
that much. We saw his plans. We saw him executing his plans, but we didn't really get a lot of time with Zemo, so it's hard for me to say he had a good performance.
But just because you've got Captain America so many more times before this, I think that Zemo being that good kind of overshadows it when you have 4 other movies with Cap in it and 1 movie with Zemo. And it's
5.
one of the things at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it should be this would be the 5th.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
But the scenes where he's practicing the Russian words, like he already speaks Russian because his dad was Baron Zemo, so he knows the language, but he's practicing the trigger words because he's being careful, he's making plans. Like, you get this premeditated mindset.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
we see his
it is
planning,
so good,
but we don't get a performance. I think the closest we get to it is the scene where he's listening to the voice message, and that's only one scene in the movie.
That scene is not the one that comes to mind when I think of it. It's the scene where he's in the bunker and Cap comes up and he's like, I've read every file on you, and then
there's little hints of green.
He's
like blue eyes. Yeah,
glad to see there's a flaw, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's like, you aren't perfect, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I liked that scene
and his
that
final scene where he's like, "Did I lose?"
Yeah, like there's because
really Zemo won it by the end of this movie. Yeah. The Avengers are split up, which is what he set out to do.
But yeah, no, that was the one that stood out for me. End credit scene. We got the Spider-Man will return scene at the end.
Is this the first? Well, this is an Avengers movie, so never mind. I was gonna say, is this the first movie that doesn't tease Thanos or the Infinity Stones at all?
I mean, Vision talks about the Mind Stone a lot in the movie, but otherwise not like a direct call out to an Infinity Stone. But he kind of calls a lot of attention to it. Yeah. So technically, yes, he calls it out, so it's there. What's the first end scene? Oh, it's
Spider-Man.
No, that's the last part. There's the scene right after the, I guess, specialized credits for all the main cast. No, it's not where Cap breaks them out of the raft.
No.
Man, it must not have been much if we can't remember what it was. Because the second one is Spider-Man.
Bucky going back into ice at Wakanda.
In Wakanda. Yeah, he freezes himself.
Yep.
Which, I mean, we don't get to see him unfrozen, so I don't know if I'd say it adds anything. You could have just had him sitting in Wakanda and be like, hey, you're going to rest here in safety. Like, they didn't need to freeze him, per se. But
I think it was more like he wanted to be frozen so he didn't have to deal with
until they had something that they could do for him.
Which is understandable. I mean, he's been struggling with it for 2 years at this point? This is 2 years after Winter Soldier?
Yeah,
so he's
around that. Maybe 3 years after, because no, it'd be 2 because it was 2014. Well, release wise, it's 2 years. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron. Yeah, I think they make reference to it's been a year that Sam's been on the case of looking for the Winter Soldier, and I think this is a year after Age of Ultron. So
yeah, but yeah. So ranking this movie,
where are you placing it? I'm willing to give it an S tier.
I think high A is what I would go for.
High A. So do we
Yeah.
think better than Avengers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would put it above Avengers. Is that the highest in A right now?
Yeah, that's the highest.
Okay,
in A.
so top of A for Civil War right now.
I would have put it low S, but high A sounds fine.
Yeah, and see, you have less problems with it than I do. Personally, I think the flaws in this movie are not as bad as the flaws in Age of Ultron. So it's not as much of a problem for me. Like,
All right.
the
So
only reason
we didn't
got
actually
so deep
we didn't
into
go
it-
over all the rankings in our last
and
video when
Ant-Man?
yeah.
That's
So I
okay.
guess we'll go over them now then. So our current rankings
I mean, it should
sit.
be up on screen. Hopefully, if you leave it
Yeah,
up
but
for
still,
more than
I would
2
like
seconds.
to just read it off.
Okay.
So at the start of Phase 3 of the MCU, our current rankings are our S tier contains Captain America: Winter Soldier and Captain America: The First Avenger. A tier is Captain America: Civil War, Avengers, Iron Man, Avengers: Age of Ultron. B, Thor, Iron Man 3, Ant-Man, Iron Man 2, Thor: The Dark World. Or C, Guardians of the Galaxy and The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty solid on that.
Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good for the rankings.
All right.
I don't know how long we've gone so far, but for closing thoughts, I guess we'll do the action versus combat talk. Because personally, I still think Winter Soldier has the better combat, the better action for a lot of its stuff. I think some of the action set pieces are much better.
Okay, so here's what I think we should do.
The combat is
What
better.
is your favorite action scene, fight scene from Winter Soldier? And I'll pick mine from Civil War. Because I think this has the best. You think Winter Soldier has
from Winter
the best?
Soldier, the scene from when he pulls what's the guy's name out of the car, the senator,
The bridge fight scene.
Yeah. So that scene all the way until Bucky runs off. Like, that scene is what, 10 minutes long, and it's just nonstop action.
I would
It's
put
so good.
the final fight between Iron Man, Winter Soldier, and Bucky
And I knew you
above
would,
that.
and I have the whole reason why it can't be better.
Why?
When Iron Man goes to shoot his missile at Bucky, and she says the targeting system's offline, and he's like, I'll eyeball it. And then suddenly, he's able to use his targeting system to analyze Cap's fighting style.
No, he doesn't. He's not using his targeting system. That's a completely different software.
It would be different software, but it would be the same receiving camera. If he can't use his targeting system...
He doesn't say that the camera is...
I know it wouldn't be the camera, because obviously he can have the lenses turn off. But at the same time, like, if his targeting system is not working, how is it going to focus on specific parts of Captain America, who's moving at a much faster rate than Bucky is while he's climbing up?
Well, like, there's a difference between... I understand what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying. But what I'm saying is the targeting system being offline means that the missile cannot lock onto Bucky, because we see it's shooting all over the place. It can't focus on Bucky.
Yeah, it can't focus.
There's a difference, which means it can't lock onto him. What the thing is doing when it's scanning, it's tapping the different areas of which Cap is aiming, and then the suit fully takes over and just grabs the shield. That's all it does. And then once he has the shield, Tony takes over and he just does his thing.
Yeah, and I think if your targeting system is going to be damaged and unable to focus on one specific thing, there's no way your suit's going to start analyzing someone who's literally mid-combat punching and throwing your helmet off. Like, it's not going to work. Like, and it's not even a huge problem I have. It's just one of the things that I think is a little bit inconsistent.
You want to know a huge problem I have?
What's your huge problem?
Why is Steve continuously throwing the shield at Winter Soldier?
He doesn't do it in that
Yes,
fight.
he does.
No.
He does it twice. Bucky gets a hold of the shield because Steve throws it at him.
Do you not remember that he throws Steve with the shield in the bridge fight scene?
No.
That's one of the times you counted in the Winter Soldier review that we did. You counted it as Captain America throwing it, and it was literally Cap had it on his arm. Bucky grabs the shield, throws Cap,
Yeah,
and Cap loses control.
I'm not
and then
saying that.
That's how it gets launched into the vehicle.
Mhm.
And yes, Cap does throw it one time.
Yes.
But
And it
after
doesn't
that,
work.
he doesn't throw it anymore, and he keeps it on him until he gets disarmed by Bucky. Just saying.
Okay. And I'm just saying that's not how a targeting system works.
I mean, I agree with you that a targeting system, but the targeting system would also have to be connected, because what is the system doing when it's looking at Cap? You even said it yourself. It's targeting.
It's pinpointing.
Yeah, using a different word doesn't matter, because it's
Are
targeting.
you saying that it can't analyze what's sitting in front of it? It's hard.
Okay,
Because
so if we
what the
pull
targeting
the
system...
scene up, I know.
No, wait.
I know what it looks like in the scene, and I'm not saying it's the same. But if you were to be like, oh, this piece of technology, which is meant to focus on one specific thing, can no longer focus on one specific thing, what makes you think something that's meant to focus on so many different little things is suddenly going to work over one that's only targeting on one? Like, that's my thing of that. Like, it wouldn't be functional. That's my personal opinion.
I think your opinion's wrong. So...
Okay, well, when you make an Iron Man suit and its targeting system is completely different from its analyzation system, then you can talk to me.
Okay. Well, when I get... Listen, if Tony Stark wasn't a billionaire, he would not be Iron Man.
We'll get to that one.
You mean I'll get to that one? You get to sit out.
I've already watched an entire breakdown of that show. So I've already put myself through that.
That was your decision.
I know
I have to for you guys.
But what I'm saying is I have done it once already. I'm not going to
We're
do it
talking about
again.
Ironheart.
Ironheart.
We'll get there.
Yes. Unfortunately, we will get there. But yeah. So
yeah.
I'll agree to say that you're welcome to your opinion. And I'm not even going to say your opinion is wrong.
Yep. And I'm here to say
that Winter Soldier's bridge fight scene is better than the final fight scene. And
I think the final fight scene is better, but you know.
Yeah, and agree to disagree. But at some point we will be doing a relationships ranking, probably at the end of phase 3.
We'll do a relationships ranking of our... What should we do? Top 5 favorite relationships in the MCU?
No, we should do it like the movie ranking, and we'll take the tier list and we'll put like, so that way we can see.
Are we also talking about potential relationships?
No, only ones that
are canon.
Either they have a flirty relationship, or like even brotherly sisterly relationships, like Clint and Wanda. Like you could put that in there too.
All right. Bucky and Steve.
Yeah. Like you don't have to just do romantic relationships.
Except we do want to see them end up kissing.
Oh man. But
yep.
Yeah, so that's Civil War. Is what, number 3 on our list now?
I think so. Our top 3 are all the Captain America movies. It's such a good trilogy.
I didn't even try and do it that way.
It's such a good trilogy.
But I think personally, I don't think they should have titled it a Captain America movie. Like, the only Avengers members we're missing are Hulk and Thor. And technically, it's a bigger team in this movie than it is in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Just saying. But, yeah, no, so...
So, what's our next movie? Doctor Strange?
Next movie, yeah, it's Doctor Strange.
And then Thor the Dark World. Or Thor Ragnarok. And then Spider-Man Homecoming.
Not Ragnarok.
Right. So, is there anything else you want to add on this?
Well, I mean, it's not really a big thing, but the continuing appearance of characters from the show Community because of their connection to the Russo brothers.
Yep.
I don't know if you've ever watched that show, but I actually
haven't.
really like it. Maybe we'll watch it at some point. Just
because.
Yeah, it's. Yeah. I mean, it's made by the Russo brothers and Dan Harmon and stuff like. And the Russo brothers brought a lot of the characters, not the characters from that show, but the actors from that show. The only one who doesn't appear in a Marvel project is the voice of Adam Eve from Invincible.
Really?
So every single one of them has been in a superhero project after they were in the show Community. So it's actually really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
That is
just a slight tangent to talk about. But yeah, that's it for me.
Yep. All right. So thank you guys for watching half an episode where we talk about Captain America Civil War and half an episode where we argue about Aunt May's age. So I cannot wait to see you guys next week. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I will be taking $10 from him when he finally realizes he is wrong about Aunt May getting asked out on the date.
No, I didn't say she gets asked out. I said Peter said something about her going out on a date with him.
Either way, you're wrong. See you guys later. I'm telling you, you're wrong.